I'm Certified Cicerone Amy Beers, and it's time for Indies Beer of the Month. My pick for June is Lima Ranchera from Chilliwater Brewery. Not only do they have some of the best beer in the city, but I am also in love with the modern structure. It's located right next to the Cultural Trail with a fantastic view of the cityscape. It's seriously up there as one of the best outdoor spots for beer drinking. And I picked Lima Ranchera because I really feel like it just fits those summertime vibes out on the patio. Plus there's a really cool story behind it that involves a surprise visit from a pretty big name in the beer industry, which will be revealed at the end of this video. Join me for a beer as we talk with the very talented Dan Krzywicki, who is one of the owners and the head brewer here at Chilliwater Brewery, on this episode of Drinking with Beers. Located just southeast of the city center on Virginia Avenue in Indianapolis is a neighborhood called Fletcher Place. It is named after Calvin Fletcher, who originally purchased the land here way back in the 1830s when Indy was still in its infancy. Mr. Fletcher was a prominent citizen who kept a diary that we now use as a reference to understand some of our city's history. Today, Fletcher Place is a popular destination among locals. Some of Indy's critically acclaimed, top-rated restaurants reside here, along with some fantastic spots to just grab a few drinks. It is a bar crawler's paradise. And right at the hub is Chilliwater Brewing as one of Indy's hottest spots. Established in 2014 with a focus on music and the local art scene, it is the perfect spot to grab a pint and just chill. You know, as the American craft beer revolution has evolved, we've gone from these lagers to these ales, and a lot of times these ales end up being super complex and heavy and thick. It's almost like there's been this race to see who can make the most extreme beer. And you know, those are fun, I like them, but sometimes, and I don't know about you, but my palate just starts to feel really weighted down. And sometimes I just want to get back to the basics, and that's what I love about Chilliwater. Dan Krzywicki, who is the head brewer, is really talented. He does all styles of beer very well, but he really gravitates toward German-style lagers. Their built-to-last Pilsner is some of the best, if not the best, in the city. I love it. Chilliwater, again, is just where I go when I want to get back to the basics, when I want just a clean, simple, classic beer that tastes like beer. I'm a classics girl through and through. There is a reason that classic styles have lasted through the ages. Sometimes it's the simplest beers that are the most challenging to perfect. So today we're talking about Lima Ranchera. It is basically a light, crisp, Mexican-style lager that has been infused with lime. Think of Corona, not the virus, but the beer. Like enough time has passed, I can make that joke now, right? Corona, please sponsor this video. Except it's better than Corona, and it's brewed locally, and you can get it fresh. Plus that lime just adds a little bit of zest, which, by the way, pairs really nicely with spicy food. The acidity from that lime really helps temper that spice and refresh your palate. And here's a fun fact. So in keeping with the music theme at Chilliwater, they have named a lot of their beers after musical puns. So Lima Ranchera, Lima, of course, means lime, and then ranchera is a style of music that originated in Mexico. Lima Ranchera is a collaboration brew that utilizes Indiana ingredients and limes from California. But the story behind the beer is a little bit more exciting than simply its ingredients, and I will let the head brewer, Dan, tell you more. Cheers, thanks for having us out.
Thanks for coming out, Amy.
Dan, I know you've told me the story before about Lima Ranchera, but tell me again. I know sounds like you had a surprise visit from a pretty big name in the brewing industry.
We did. This was several years ago. Jim Scambry, who owns Craft Road's distributor, he brought Jamil Zainasheff, who now owns Heretic Brewery in Northern California. Surprise visit. They just walked in randomly one day, and I was like, whoa, Jamil's in my brewery. And, you know, he tried almost every beer on tap, and it was cool.
For those who aren't familiar, can you explain who Jamil Zainasheff is?
Yeah, so Jamil, he's an author, longtime brewer. He's published several books on recipes. He wrote a book on yeast with Chris White from White Labs, and just sort of a name in the industry, both home brewer and professional brewer alike.
And he's won quite a bit of awards. Mm-hmm. I think I read that he's brewed every single style of beer.
Yeah, he has style books out there, technical books.
Some TV shows.
Yeah, he had a podcast. Brew Strong, for quite a long time, and where they'd be interviewing brewers, talking about process, recipes.
Kind of like we're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I know that Jamil was a pretty big inspiration to you and helped teach you a lot of what you know now. So what was it like, having your hero just show up randomly at your brewery?
Yeah, it was, kind of like getting to meet, your favorite musician or something like that, I've learned a ton from Jamil, even though he doesn't know it. I listen to his podcast all the time. I've read all of his books. I've learned a ton about brewing from him. So to have him at the brewery and to be so complimentary about my beers was pretty special for me.
Does he know now that you have read his books and listened to his podcast, or have you kind of just...
Yeah, so it's funny, when he was here, we went back in the brewery and he saw all my brewing books up there and a couple of the ones that he had written. And so I pulled one off that I had pre-ordered, and he autographed it, before it shipped off. And then so he autographed it again, and he just said, "Keep making great beer." So it was cool.
So you tried all your beer. Mm-hmm. Were you nervous at all, or were you excited? Like, what were your thoughts and feelings while he was trying your beer?
I was excited, to be honest, because he wouldn't be the type of person who would fluff you. If your beer sucks, he's not going to say, "Oh, it's so great."
And that didn't make you nervous?
No,
really confident in your product.
I would much prefer an honest answer about my product than somebody just saying, "Oh, it tastes great." So, and he's got a great palate and everything. He's a beer judge as well. So, he tried all the beers across the board, and
which was his favorite?
So he said the Blood Orange IPA was the best blood orange beer he's ever had, like of any blood orange style of beer. So that was cool. Jamil, every brewer has their, standard in which they judge a brewery. Personally, mine is light lagers. So if I visit a brewery, I'm gonna go for the lightest beer they have on tap, like a light American lager. If they don't have any lagers, I'll go for a Kolsch or a blonde. I always start at the very lightest, and that's sort of a good litmus test for me. Jamil, he goes for a German Hefeweizen, and I did have one on tap, and he really enjoyed it, so check.
Cool. So he was here at the brewery, and you had this idea that you would just love to do a collaborative brew with him, mm-hmm. and then you worked up the guts to ask him.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I just threw it out there, and he said he never does collaborations for marketing or sales or any of that purposes. He just does it with people that he likes and people that make great beer. So he said, "Let's do it."
Awesome. Were you nervous to ask him? And then once he was like, "Sure, yeah," that must have been really exciting. Yeah,
I was like, whatever I got to lose, I'm gonna throw it out there. He'll either say yes or no.
Yeah.
And so, we wound up talking about a few different styles that neither of us have brewed yet. And me personally, I'm a huge lager guy, so if I'm going to collaborate with another brewery, I'm always pushing for some kind of lager style. But I also like to embrace whatever they're going for as well. So I know they make a lot of hazy and juicy IPAs, so that was considered as well, but we ultimately landed on the Mexican lager.
How did you arrive to deciding to do a Mexican lager? What was the deciding factor?
It ultimately came down to a Goza or a Mexican lager.
Okay.
And my business partner at the time, Skip, he hates sours. He hates
So
anything
Goza
tart
was
or
out.
sour. Yeah. So I was like, for his sake, let's go with the Mexican lager. And so we started talking about recipes and talk about indigenous ingredients. So corn from Indiana. California's a huge fruit state. So Mexican beer with a lime goes hand in hand, so decided to use California limes and Indiana corn. And
so it's kind of a marriage between, you like to do lagers, he likes to do some fruitier styles. So he got the fruit aspect of what he likes to do, and then you got the lager aspect of what you like to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a fun one.
Yeah. It's been a great seller. It's one of my personal favorites. So
Yeah.
it started off as a one-off, and now we're making it almost year-round.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. It's a great beer for summer. I just feel like it really fits the atmosphere of your patio.
Yeah, summertime especially.
So last question. So you're really good at brewing lagers. I know that's kind of seems like what you gravitate toward. I've noticed, and I want your opinion on this, but I've noticed it seems like craft beer has kind of, it's gone toward ales, but now I feel like it might be coming back toward more people are drinking lagers. Do you feel like that's a trend?
I'd like to hope so, but I've appreciated lagers for a long time, and it's really a selfish, personal reason that I make so many lagers. I don't do it for any kind of trend or sales reasons.
Sure.
It's
But do you feel like people come in and they're ordering it more versus the ale?
Yeah, I feel like the craft beer drinker is starting to kind of return to, just very clean, crisp, balanced beers versus, let's see how outrageous we can get with, 10 pounds per barrel of hops, in a beer. So, that's good for me to see. I like to see that hopefully it's trending in a more balanced direction, but
I love those. I mean, those extreme beers, personally, are fun to try, but I really enjoy coming here for your lagers because sometimes it's just like, ugh, I just want a beer that tastes like beer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like to have a beer that I can have 2 or 3 of and really enjoy and not be bloated and drunk afterwards,
Yes.
4 or 5% beers, just crisp and clean.
What's the ABV on Lima Ranchera?
5.3.
5.3.
So that was another talking point when we were developing this recipe. We both agreed that we like lighter beers, so we wanted it to be 4.8 ABV.
Oh, okay.
But this is one aspect where sales kind of came into play. It's like the consumer would be more attracted to a 5 point something versus a 4 point something. And that's something that we've struggled with for a long time in terms of craft beer sales. A lot of people look at the number rather than the style or the flavor. 7% IPA, it's the same price as a 4% Pilsner. I'm going to go for the 7% IPA because I'll get drunk quicker.
That frustrates me so much, just because, like, with my Cicerone training, it's like there's so much more to beer than just getting drunk or just the alcohol content. I feel like if you're focused on the ABV, you're missing out on so much.
You are, yep.
Yes. I could get up on my soapbox and preach all day about this, but I will digress.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us out.
Yeah.
And thank you for brewing fantastic lagers. Well, I
Thanks
know
for
you brew
coming.
other things, but
Yeah.
I especially enjoy your lagers.
Thank you.
So what do you think? Do you think the craft beer scene is gravitating back toward lagers? Are you a fan of extreme beers, or do you lean more toward those classic styles? Cast your vote in the comments, and we will see who wins. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button so that you can be notified of future Indianapolis beer and brewing highlights. I'm Amy Beers, and until we drink again, cheers.